Hello everybody! Today I'd like to show you some of the trees that I've been working on this year and that I will be working on next year. So let's have a look. So this is the field maple forest. I planted it a year or two ago. It's doing quite well except for the main tree. It lost a branch here. Well, it might sprout and I might put this one as a front, as a well, to fill up the blank spot here, but I already have a branch that I can graft here, so that's okay. I might also air layer another main tree. This forest is quite a landscape. It has a whole lot of stones at the back to give it some depth. So yeah, definitely one of the fun projects I have. I'll give you a little view of the surface, which is nice. And so here it is. Okay, so on to the next tree now. This one is the little ivy Fusion Cascade that I made just a few weeks ago. Well, it's doing okay. I think it looks very nice. I'll give it a 360. It has branches where it should have branches, and the distribution is very nice. So for this tree there's going to be a lot of growing, and well, hopefully there will be a lot of fusion too, and then I can trim back and wire some more. So this looks very nice. This is a little field maple. It's been wired now, repotted last year I think, and it's doing very well. I hope to have a good amount of growth to fill up this canopy next year. There are two grafts on this tree, one here for a root that I lacked, and then the same here. And well, I think this year these things will close. I'll give you a little close-up of the root base, which is quite wide. So that's an interesting root base, I think. Even from the back the roots are well spread. So yeah, roots are extremely important to give the tree maturity. Okay, next. This is the Ginseng Ficus that had a major makeover this year. It's starting to look like a tree. Well, the idea is to develop the canopy and make it more a round shape. Not the S form is quite nice, but I don't want it to look like a pine because it's not a pine. It looks good. It has a good branch distribution. So it's staying outside during the winter, except when it freezes. Then I'm bringing this tree and other tropicals inside, just to avoid the freezing. And well, of course it's not growing now because, well, it's winter, but I hope to see some progress with this tree in the coming season. If anyone is interested how to get rid of the bulbous roots and the thick reverse taper in these roots, I have a whole series about how I air layered this. So, well, yeah, looks nice. Well, this is not much of a bonsai yet, but it's one of my favorite projects at the moment. These are all 1 or 2 year old oak trees, royal oak, Quercus robur, and well, it's going to be a fusion project, of course. Some leaves here. Yeah, and I'm going to show you what I did at the surface of this pot. So this is a close-up. You see that I planted a whole lot of acorns around it, and if you look carefully you can see the red little spots. These are the roots that are starting to emerge. These acorns, they do that. Here you have a good view on it. And well, they first make a root, and then from the same spot you have a twig growing with a leaf, and that will make a little tree at the end of the growing season. And then maybe next year or the year after I will have a lot of trees that can be included in the fusion, and this will make a nice big root base to start with. And then of course I will have to bundle these trees, but that's not for this year. So that's a fun little project. This is a triple trunk Chinese juniper, which is a nice tree, but I repotted it last year, and well, I thought I could wire it because it's getting out of shape, but I have some brown spots here. The branches are not dead, but I think it has some disease, so I treated it. So I will look in spring how it's going, remove all the brown little spots, and then, well, let it grow, let it get strong, and then probably I will wire it, because it's a nice tree. I like it a lot. This is exactly the size of bonsai that I'm liking, because, well, too big is very difficult to handle, too small is difficult to care for, because, well, they dry out, and, well, it's always a question of taste, of course, if you like small trees, big trees. But it needs a wiring, but first it needs to get healthy. Don't work on trees that are not completely healthy. Okay, next one. This is definitely one of my favorite projects. It's Fusion field maple, and I really love it. Look at this. It's now completely wired up, except for the top, which I could work on with just pruning. I really like it. I think you're looking at the front now. I'm not sure about the front, something like that, something here. At the moment it's more like this because I need a branch here, but as you might see, I prepared a branch here, and then, well, that will have to grow a whole lot. But it's looking really good. It's almost closed now. I don't really care about the fusion at the base, because the fusion, well, it will come. There's no question about that. These trees will thicken and fuse. That's what they do. We have fusion here and here, so that's very nice. Yeah, so while you wait that your trees are fusing, you can already start to build the crown, which is supposed to be something like that. A big ball, because again it's not a pine. And yeah, I have a few seeds here that I planted, and I hope that they will sprout, so that when they are this tall, I can put them down with a stone on it, probably, or maybe with a clamp, and then include them in the fusion. That will do two things. It will make the trunk thicker at the base, and it will provide a radial root pattern, which is of course always interesting. So I like it a lot. Next one. So this one is also a fusion project, and it is a monster. You see, this is my hand, this is the root base, and the root base is extending here, of course, but I covered it up because I added a few seedlings. I did some work on it. In autumn, I think there's a movie about it. It's really an enormous tree. I like it a lot. I think it's got a lot of character. The nice thing to know is that if you try this at home, which I would encourage you to do, this started 5 years ago. There's a whole series on this tree. It's not really interesting from this angle because the two trunks are really next to each other. I think it's gonna look better like this. So when I repot it in a year or two, I will probably change the angle slightly. It's not completely fused. We have some very thin trees here, because some died, but that's not a problem. Like I told you, it will close eventually, so just keep on working on the top. This is not closed too, but as you see, there's a thick branch here that I'm already letting grow, so that's a very interesting branch. I will have to cut it very short here, but that's something for the coming spring, and I'm going to work on the top too in spring and cut back some stuff and so on and so on. I intend to keep it quite short now, to have a maximum of back budding, and I think this is going to be a fantastic tree in a year or two. Yep. Even if the trunks are not completely closed, like I said, they will close. Just have enough seedlings to add and to fill the gaps, and it will come. It takes some time, but does not matter. It was started in 2005, so we are in the end of 2020, so that's 5 years. That's what you can achieve with Fusion in 5 years. I think even tree, if you don't do stupid things like I did, repot it too often and stuff like that, yeah, it should be possible in 3 years. This one is a big field maple. You're looking at the front now, so yeah, it's not completely well planted in its spots. First I thought about this as a front, but I'm not completely sure. Well, anyway, it does not really matter now. What matters is to develop this crown, well, that's what we will have to do in the coming year, of course. These branches here are grafted, and you see that, well, they are loose now because I removed the grafting tape and the clamps that I used for the winter, because it's only going to rot now and it's not going to help. So what I want to do is keep this as clean as possible, as dry as possible. It's raining a lot, but at least the water is not staying in the raffia and stuff like that. So once the tree starts to grow again, I will put the clamp on, because then we will be in a drier season, and it's going to be a question of developing the crown. Probably some of the branches will have to come down a little, like this one maybe. I'm not completely sure, but we will see. Probably I'll cut these back quite short to have more back budding and make a sort of a broom style. Yep, field maple has a nice root base. I'll bring the camera in to show you. So this is the kind of root base you get when you do air layerings, especially with maples. It's very good. Of course, it's covered with moss now, but the root base is quite okay. And even if I miss some roots at certain spots, I will of course graft some, which is very easy. Takes a year or two and you have every root you want. Okay, next one. This is a Pom Grenade Fusion. And I'm having a lot of trouble with these trees because a lot of these small trees are dying back and are rotting. It really hates the moisture here in Belgium. So, well, that's a problem. Of course, the good thing is you can easily take cuttings of these. So every time I do some pruning, I just keep the cuttings and root them. But now I think I'm going to do absolutely nothing for the coming years, except letting everything that is here grow strong, and let the cuttings that I have grow strong, and then maybe in a year I will try to add some more of these little plants in order to fill these huge gaps. I think that's, well, at least 1/3 of the tree is of the trunk here is not covered. So yeah, it's not doing too good, but yeah, well, I started it, I will finish it. Not this year, but one day I will finish it. Okay, to conclude this, well, this is the root over rock field maple, which is completely wired out now, and I'm quite happy about this tree. It looks great. The roots are fantastic, especially at the back, which is of course well, it's good because I think this is a tree that should look good from every side, and all trees should look good from every side. Maybe I could use some extra roots here, 1 or 2, so I'm intending to plant a few seedlings here, or maybe just insert 5 or 6 seeds, and eventually 1 or 2 will sprout, and then, well, I will guide them along the rock, and with a little wire add them to the existing roots, and they will fuse, of course, and I will have nice roots. I'm bringing the camera in a little closer to give you a little close-up on the roots. So here it goes. And this is the back. This is the spot where I could add a root or 2. And this again is the front. And if you look at the tree, well, I think it's starting to look quite okay. So this was a selection of the trees. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.